That janitor's just a failure who couldn't hack it as a SEAL, the young recruit sneered, purposely kicking over the trash bin the old man had just emptied. The janitor's worn hands quietly picked up each piece of litter, his collar slipping just enough to show the faded edge of a trident tattoo. From across the yard, the Master Chief Instructor suddenly froze, his gaze fixed on the tattoo. How many legends are hidden behind ordinary faces? And what happens when buried truths resurface? Welcome to Real Speak Diaries. Let's uncover what really happened. Tom Sullivan arrived at the Naval Special Warfare Training Center in Coronado every morning at exactly 5:30. By then, he'd already completed his daily 5-mile run, a habit unbroken for 8 years. At 62, the janitor moved through the facility like a phantom, unnoticed by most despite the essential job he performed. Today was day 5 of Hell Week. The floors were worse than usual, coated in vomit, grime, and bloody gauze from candidates pushing past their limits. Tom cleaned in a calm, practiced rhythm, each movement honed through years of discipline. "Morning, sir." Tom nodded respectfully as Commander Hayes walked by, offering no acknowledgement as usual. What they didn't know was that 70% of the staff avoided cleaning during Hell Week. Tom always stepped up. He understood exactly what those young men went through, perhaps more than any of them knew. "The most promising medical student I've seen in decades," a professor had remarked the week before. Tom's apartment was bare. A table, a bed, and one drawer filled with items no one at the base had ever seen. 3 purple hearts, photographs from a different era, a life before he became invisible. "Hey, janitor," Jake Peterson shouted across the mess hall. This SEAL class was especially cocky, led by the former college football star. "Cleanup needed on aisle 5, Jake's friends laughed as he purposely spilled his water. Tom approached wordlessly with his mop. "My dad was Force Recon," Jake told his adoring crowd. "He says real operators don't need support crews. They just don't have what it takes." Tom took it in stride, continuing his work while others joined in, creating more spills. It was routine now, a challenge among the recruits. Whoever made Tom clean the most earned free beers. Alicia, who worked in the cafeteria, shook her head. "They've gotten 3 people fired already. We draw straws just to avoid dealing with them." Last month, Tom had asked for time off to attend a VA medical appointment. The admin officer denied it. "Operational priorities," they said. Meanwhile, that same officer's lounge had just received new couches. "Budget constraints," they claimed when denying Tom's request for updated cleaning gear. Everything came to a head Thursday afternoon. Jake stumbled in after a grueling training session and vomited all over the freshly cleaned floor. "Hey, garbage man, I just added to your masterpiece," he jeered as his friends chuckled. Tom quietly cleaned the mess, hiding the pain in his right leg, old shrapnel wounds flaring again. As he bent down, his collar shifted, exposing the faint outline of a tattoo. "My bag costs more than your yearly wage," Jake continued. "Guess your mom never taught you how to clean properly." "My mother passed when I was 19, sir," Tom replied softly. "Master Chief Harrison." Peters, standing nearby, stopped mid-sip of his coffee. His eyes locked on the tattoo in sudden recognition. Tom noticed, quickly adjusted his collar, and turned away, avoiding eye contact. Jake smirked. "Bet he got that tattoo to fake being someone." Inside the supply closet, Tom calmly reorganized his materials. His hands moved automatically, though his mind wandered. The door creaked open. Master Chief Peters stood there. "Sullivan," he said, not a question. Tom stood upright but didn't speak. "I thought I knew you," Peters said. "Why are you doing this? Cleaning floors for a bunch of entitled kids?" "Someone's got to do it," Tom replied plainly. Peters shook his head. "I'll speak to the commander. This isn't okay." "With all due respect, Master Chief, let it be." That night, Peters combed through old personnel files. Tom's record was unusually thin, heavily redacted. But one image remained. Operation Eagle Claw, Iran, 1980. A younger Tom Sullivan among elite operatives, solemn before the doomed hostage rescue mission. A rare citation noted heroic action under extreme conditions, though the details were blacked out. One detail stood out: the rare SSBIPR clearance, the highest level of classified access. VA records showed repeated surgeries consistent with battle trauma. His name appeared on a classified memorial for covert ops, those not listed publicly. Desert 1, the failed staging ground where 8 American servicemen died. The following day, Jake and his friends resumed their torment. Videos of the Janitor challenge were now circulating among recruits, a sick badge of honor. "The customer is always right," Tom's boss said when he reported the abuse. "Just avoid conflict. We can't upset future SEALs." "I've submitted 3 reports already," Tom replied. "They'll stay filed. That's how it works." By afternoon, short clips of the candidates harassing the janitor spread online. News segments covering SEAL training highlighted elite warriors, no mention of the support staff. "That's the service life," a fellow maintenance worker told Tom. "You take the abuse." Once again, Tom's equipment request was denied. "Budget tightening," read the memo. Meanwhile, new gym gear arrived at the officers' club. That night, Tom sat alone in the maintenance break room. Operational staff sat elsewhere. Policy required it. He quietly read a letter from his sister. The VA had cut his benefits again, disputing that his injuries were related to service. While returning to his duties, 2 admin staff whispered nearby. If he was that important, he wouldn't be scrubbing bathrooms. The base newsletter arrived, featuring service excellence profiles. Only operators, never the support team. The commander's message praised the warrior's mission. Again, no mention of those who keep the base running. Peters found Tom during a slow moment. "Some serve in the light, others in the shadows," Tom said when asked again about his past. "Right now, I just serve." Peters dug deeper, found an old SEAL class yearbook. There was Tom. Further digging confirmed it. Tom had helped form SEAL Team 6 under Richard Marino. His record spanned nearly 30 years, 27 countries, countless missions. An officer passing by accidentally referred to Tom as a Desert 1 survivor, then went quiet when others looked puzzled. Later that week, the base held a memorial for fallen SEALs. Maintenance was ordered to clean beforehand, but not invited to attend. Tom stood at a distance, watching Jake and other candidates pose proudly, loudly proclaiming their future brotherhood. That night, Tom took extra time cleaning the memorial wall. He gently traced each engraved name. He paused at a few, touching them softly. Jake walked in with his crew. "Hey, janitor, we need everything perfect for graduation," he barked. "Real warriors deserve spotless floors." Tom didn't respond, continuing his detailed work. "What's wrong?" Jake taunted. "Don't care about real heroes? Guess that's why you're just pushing a mop." Who's truly responsible when workers are treated this way? Leadership, customers, society? What's your take? The next morning, Jake and 4 others cornered Tom in the supply room while prepping for the ceremony. "Hey, trash guy," Jake sneered. "We've got a special job for you." Tom kept arranging the supplies, undisturbed. "I'm talking to you, old man." Jake stepped forward, getting in his face. "Didn't they teach janitors to respond when future warriors speak?" Tom calmly continued organizing. One of them, annoyed, shoved over the cleaning cart, bottles spilled everywhere. "Oops, clumsy me. What's wrong?" Jake smirked. "Too soft to stand up for yourself? Bet you never had what it takes." The door swung open abruptly. Master Chief Peter stood in the frame, his face hardened. "Stand at attention, candidates, now." The mood shifted instantly. The trainees snapped upright, now fully aware of the threat behind the instructor's tone. "You have precisely 30 seconds to explain why you're mocking this man," Peters demanded. Jake stuttered. "Just messing around with the janitor, Master Chief. Meant no disrespect." "No disrespect?" Peters' voice grew lower. "You have no clue who you've been disrespecting." The Master Chief turned slightly. "Commander Taylor, sir, I believe you should hear this." The base commander entered with a grim expression. He gave Tom a near-invisible nod before turning to the candidates. Master Chief Peters motioned toward Tom's neck. "Sir, requesting permission to explain that tattoo's significance." The commander paused, then nodded. "Go ahead." "That trident isn't regulation issue. It was issued only to the original members of SEAL Team 6 under Commander Marenko." Jake looked puzzled. Peters continued. "Mr. Sullivan here was one of the founding members of SEAL Team 6. He completed 13 combat tours, including our earliest counterterrorism missions." The candidate stood motionless as Peters recounted Tom's past. His role in Operation Eagle Claw, surviving the failed Desert 1 mission in Iran in 1980, where 8 servicemen perished. He had participated in classified operations over 3 decades in 27 different nations. 3 Purple Hearts and multiple top-secret commendations never made public. The underwater infiltration methods you studied last month? He created them. They're still taught today because they've never been improved upon. Commander Taylor added quietly. After retirement, Mr. Sullivan continued his service as a technical advisor for classified operations. His role here serves partially as cover for his ongoing security consulting. The room went silent. Jake had gone pale. "The man you've been ridiculing, the one whose work you've made harder, has given more to this nation than most of us ever will," Peters stated. Tom finally spoke, his voice low but firm, commanding instant respect. "I don't need your apologies, but the other maintenance staff deserve your respect, every single day." Jake stepped forward. "Sir, I wasn't aware," Tom interrupted. "That's exactly the issue. Respect isn't based on who you were. It's earned by who you are, each day." Commander Taylor declared, "Effective immediately, I'm enacting new guidelines for how all base personnel are treated." In a private moment afterward, Tom removed his work shirt at the commander's request, reluctantly, exposing deep combat scars, marks of survival and conflict. "These aren't what make me worthy of respect," Tom said. "Nor is my record. It's how I treat others, consistently." The SEAL trainees, after learning the truth, volunteered to clean the facility themselves before graduating. Later, Peters found Tom alone by the memorial wall. "Why didn't you ever say anything? Why let them treat you like that?" Tom ran his finger along a name etched in stone. "Bobby Miles, my swim buddy at Desert 1. He never made it back. Got proper honors, a proper remembrance." He gestured toward the maintenance bay, where others continued their quiet labor. "Some men get recognized, others don't. Doesn't make the work any less important." 6 months later, noticeable change swept through the Naval Special Warfare Training Center. Mandatory appreciation training for support staff was added for all SEAL trainees. Jake, now bearing the trident he'd earned, led the inaugural session, telling how he once misjudged a true warrior. Tom reluctantly agreed to occasionally speak to candidates, sharing not about his Black Ops missions but about humility and team effort. His personnel records were restored. His complete service was entered into the base's historical archive. Commander Taylor introduced the Sullivan Standard. Respect for all base personnel, regardless of job, became a formal evaluation factor for every candidate. The base newsletter launched a segment, "Heroes Among Us," spotlighting contributions of support staff. "The real test of character," the commander wrote in his column, "is how we treat those whose honors remain unseen." Maintenance workers were given priority for equipment upgrades. The policy separating dining for operational and support personnel was abolished. Everyone now shared the same mess hall. An anonymous donation, rumored to be from a group of graduated SEALs, created a scholarship for support staff children. Local veterans organizations revised their rules to officially welcome all who served in any role. "Sometimes the truest bravery," Jake told his graduating class, "is continuing to serve without applause." His final essay on leadership focused solely on lessons in humility and service. Naval Special Warfare Command began evaluating recognition practices for non-combat personnel. Inspired by Tom's legacy, the discussion spread across the military, about visible versus unseen contributions. One spring morning, Tom stood in the commander's office, retirement paperwork in hand, ending 8 years as a janitor and 40 years of total service. "You sure about this?" Commander Taylor asked. "We could still use you here." Tom nodded. "Time I did some fishing." Despite Tom's objections, his retirement was celebrated with full honors. Rows of SEAL legends attended, revealing Tom's true stature among those who knew. Jake, now a SEAL, stood rigid in the front row, clearly moved. Tom gave an unusually long speech. "My greatest honor wasn't the Black Ops. It was serving beside Americans of every kind, doing every job with the same devotion." The base unveiled a renamed building, the Sullivan Support Center, over Tom's protests. Commander Taylor presented Tom with his janitor's shirt, preserved in a display case beside his worn trident. As his final act, Tom personally cleaned the SEAL Memorial one last time, teaching Jake the correct way. "Always start from the bottom up," he said softly, "and take special care with the names." Tom exited the base not through the service gate but the main entrance, honored as only senior officers typically are. A formation of instructors and maintenance crew stood saluting. At home, Tom opened the drawer containing his medals. Carefully, he placed his janitor's badge among them. Equal symbols of equal service. A civilized society is measured by how it treats those who serve without fanfare. Have you ever met someone whose real greatness was hidden behind a modest job? Has someone's background ever shifted how you see them? Share your story in the comments. Subscribe for more stories of quiet valor and long overdue justice. Here at American Heroes Untold, we don't just tell stories. We reveal the truth behind every uniform. This is where unsung warriors are finally seen, where delayed respect still heals old wounds, and where you, the viewer, witness the moment dignity is restored. If your heart has ever stirred at humble service, join us.